Yo, what is the deal, everybody? What is the deal? Welcome to another Raider Nation Unlimited. I'm in Wasted Talent. Shout out to the over 130 of you guys in the room. Get wasted with your brother wasted. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Share this thing out all over social media. Salute to everybody that's on Twitter or X, whatever it's called, whatever you like to call it. And salute to the Get Off My Lawn gang. At ease. The Wasted Talent Army is in full effect. Shout out to everybody, man. Before we get to cooking, man, let me get out shout outs and salutations, man. Shout out to my guy, Faradell Huey. Bryce 77, my dog, man. Salute, Bryce. Louis Garcia, man. What up, man? He said, so much for seeing Sierra shake that. Oh, man. Yeah. You jump in the line, Louis Garcia, as usual. My guy, Martin B. Robert High Stakes Cincinnati. Not a fan of K. Adams trying to disrupt it. We're going to get into that, too. We're going to get look, sky high, everybody. Everybody's in the place, man. So, guys, let's get started, man. You guys see the thumbnail, right? There's been a lot going on. There were some coaching hires today we're going to get into. We're going to touch on all the Maxx Crosby news. It's like as the Max turns this offseason. It's crazy, man. Nothing salacious, nothing bad. I'm just glad to see that things are starting to come together. Excited as we are for this offseason and this coaching staff and all the people that we brought in. It seems like Maxx Crosby has brought in as well, man. He's super excited, man. He is super excited, man. And I'm glad, man. I'm glad, we can kind of put some of the stuff with Max to rest. You know what I mean? And Maxx Crosby kind of touched on this, man, in the radio, bro. He spoke to, Chris Sims and he's on K. Adams, talking about the new regime. But let's get into what Max said, man. Max said that he loved the energy in the room when Pete Carroll was introduced as the team's new head coach last month. And his good feelings about the direction of the organization have not gone away. Crosby was a guest on PFT's Live in New Orleans on Thursday, and he talked about his desire to win a championship being the biggest motivator for him at this point in his career. Crosby said he wants to be a leader in the push for a title rather than jumping on to a team that already has most of the pieces in place, while admitting that he hasn't been convinced that the Raiders are in a place that can happen. He goes, I've had doubts in the past, Crosby said. He said, I feel like this past year was the hardest part of my career, battling through injury the whole year, struggling, losing 10 games in a row up here. It makes you start questioning a lot of things. Crosby went on to say that the arrival of Carroll and a new general manager, John Spytek, made him the most optimistic he's ever been since he's been part of the franchise. There were a lot of things that need to happen to turn that optimism into results, man. And, there was a lot of things that need to be done to get the Raiders back on track, to a place where we haven't been in a very, 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 very long time. But look, player development, drafting players, getting the right free agents, all of that stuff fits into this neat little bow of leadership. See, when you have the proper leadership in the organization, you have competent people picking the players, you have competent GMs giving good contracts that are advantageous to the players and to the company, or should I say players and the team, right? These are the ways you win in this league, right? And then once you get the players, you got to have the people with the skill set to get the best out of them. I feel like the Raiders have not had that in over 20 years. I'm going to be completely honest with you, and this is the first time in a long time. And I don't want to give you guys too much hopium, right? Sometimes hope springs eternal in the offseason, and we go a little crazy. We get a little crazy. I don't want to do that, man. It's no need to do that this year. I believe everything that's going on in the building, are things that you can kind of hang your hat on. If you are your habits or you are your resume, the people in this building have definitely proven themselves over the years they've been in the National Football League, man. Definitely. Shout out to everybody in chat. Shout out over 300 of y'all in the room. We wasted what your brother wasted. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, man. Shout out to everybody in the room, yo. Hey, yeah, listen, somebody block Graphic Raider right effing now. This guy's coming in here jinxing alive. Unbelievable, man. Shout out to Grab, man. James Williams. Why is Kay Adams always trying to trade Raiders? It's annoying. Look, Kay Adams is a provocateur. She is a media personality whose content thrives off of, drama, thrives off of, and I'm not saying that Kay Adams just goes out to cause drama, but, trade talk is good for business on a medium like the Kay Adams show in the morning. That's what drives all of these morning talk shows, right? Because it can't just be them getting up there and reading the news and reading what happens. You know what I'm saying? Because then the show will be over in 35 minutes, right? The hot take kind of format to sports journalism is it's something that to me is ruining sports journalism, right? And it's also becoming a problem for bad football teams. The trick to the Raiders is that the Raiders need to not be a bad football team. Then we'll have trade rumors about people coming to us as opposed to us losing the heart and soul of our team. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. Kay Adams, she got to do her job, right? She has to make her show interesting. This is what she has to do. And if you really, really look at it, the Raiders, we are a lightning rod. Good, bad, or indifferent. We've always been that in the National Football League. We are a lightning rod. But look, I believe that Maxx put a lot of that to bed. But if I'm being honest, a lot of these media outlets that are, asking about Maxx being traded and trying to because it wasn't like they did the same thing on PFT as well. With Mike Florio and freaking Chris Sims, they did the same thing. Everywhere Maxx is going to go on Radio Row, people are going to ask him about, how committed he is to the Raiders. That's just going to happen. So I don't blame Kay Adams, man. That's just, it is what it is, man. Like the thing that I want to see for the Raiders is this year, I want to see us turn it around and be in the news for something good. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be in the news for something good, something great. Shout out to everybody in the effing chat. Shout out to my guy, Rorschach Raider. Just win, baby. Everybody's in the place, man. Now, guys, also, there were some rumors that because we got Pete Carroll, because it's looking like Russell Wilson was going to be the odd man out in Pittsburgh, which, the Pittsburgh Steelers kind of all but said that they are not signing Russell Wilson. And happy trails to Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. The next logical progression would be that Russell Wilson will wind up here with the Raiders. It looks like the Raiders are looking for a quarterback. Russell Wilson is looking for a team. He wanted to play here last year. Seems like it makes a whole hell of a lot of sense, right? Doesn't it? Doesn't it? It seems like it makes so much sense that it's not going to happen, man. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I am 100% happy that this is not happening this year. Last year, I would have been okay with it. This year, I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not okay with it, man. But the Raiders have made a decision about signing Wilson. This is a report from Jay Glazer. Jay Glazer is one of the most credible sources in the National Football League. But a lot of people thought once Pete Carroll took this job that Russell Wilson was going to come here, man. And look, it doesn't seem to be the case, man. Jay Glazer said the Raiders are not actually interested in Wilson. He said that's not going to happen. Glazer told radio host Andrew Filipponi, a part of the Carroll and Wilson reunion. He goes, Glazer is often right about most of his reports, so it's likely that he has good intel either way. But what guys don't understand is I never thought this was going to happen, bro. And it doesn't mean that it's definitely not going to happen, but I never thought this was going to happen just because Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson were able to kind of make up and make nice does not mean that, Pete Carroll is going to sign back up for more of Russell Wilson's backstabbing. Now, if you guys don't remember, Russell Wilson was trying to get him out of there. And John Snyder decided to stay with Pete. Russell Wilson was the one who put the full court press on Pete Carroll getting out of Seattle. It was Russell Wilson. 100%. So I'm going to be honest with you, bro. If I'm Pete Carroll, I can forgive, but I'm never forgetting that. Ever, ever, ever. Ever. F what I forget that for. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. My guy Nate Dogg. Yo, wasted. I don't think it's a good idea to draft a QB at 6. We need to stack talent. These QBs aren't worth the value of 6. We are roster devoid of talent right now because we have always reached. Look, man. Needed that. You got to allow the situation in the draft board to dictate what happens on the draft. A lot of us, we're up here, we're trying to reach, we're trying to guess. Look, would I feel like drafting a Shedeur Sanders at 6 is a reach? I don't. I think he's one of the very best, talents in this draft. And positional value kind of reigns supreme for me, right? Because you need a quarterback. I think Shedeur can be a successful starting quarterback with our team. I really do. I think the Raiders are the best case scenario for Shedeur. Shedeur reminds me a lot of Joe Burrow, the way he moves in the pocket, the way he escapes pressure without having to run, the way he can throw under duress and process downfield. I like Shedeur. Does he have the greatest arm in the world? No. Is he the fastest guy in the world? No. Right? But I personally like Shedeur Sanders. I think he's going to be successful at the next level. I really do, man. I really do. And I think a lot of people that don't like Shedeur, they don't like him for peripheral things. I don't think it has a lot to do with his play style. They just don't like him. Or they don't like Dion. And they don't like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of bullshit. But it's not exactly like this guy is Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. This is not what we're dealing with, man. But look, there are a lot of more options. There's a lot of options out there, right? Today, I dropped the short. I don't know if you guys saw, going over there, check it out. Dropped the short on Joe Milton III. I think the Raiders this offseason have many different vehicles to arriving on the island of solving their quarterback issue, right? You have some free agents that are going to be out there. You got a big ticket guy in a Sam Darnold, where I wouldn't put my money into Sam Darnold like when what we're trying to build. I wouldn't, right? I would have done that last year. Now that he's kind of had a good season, with some of the best weapons in the National Football League, I don't know if I'm willing to sign up and commit financially to a quarterback that I didn't draft. It's one thing when you draft a young quarterback. It's another thing when you are giving big-time free agent money to a guy that's been in a bunch of different scenarios in this league. The Jets and the Panthers, now with the Vikings. You're bringing it in, I think he was with San Francisco as well. You're bringing a guy in that's been on 4 different teams and only played really, really well on one of them. Right. So is it the team and the system, or is it the player? Right. So now at this point, I have to make that decision somewhere. I have to bring him into my building and give him a whole bunch of money to figure that out. That's not something that I'm willing to do. Right now, see, for me, I'm the kind of guy that I want to draft my quarterback, and I want to bring in two different options, right? So I want to draft a quarterback. I want to go out of free agency and swing big on potential, right? Because it's different when you swing big on potential when you have bad coaches in the building. When you have good coaches in the building who know how to develop people, who know how to scheme and put people in good positions, it's okay for you as a talent evaluator to bring in a guy that's very, very talented and refine them. If you look at what happened to Sam Darnold, the difference is the organization. The difference in Baker Mayfield being with the Browns and being down with Tampa Bay is coaching. It's the difference. The situation. So for me, look, I have no problem with the Raiders bringing in a guy like a Zach Wilson. I have no problem with the Raiders bringing in a guy like Joe Milton, as long as that's not the only person that you're bringing in. As long as they're not the person that you're anointing as the starter and they can come in and compete, then I have no problem with that. I just have a problem with people when I bring up guys like Joe Milton, who's blindingly talented physically. Those same people will argue with me how Aiden O'Connell is the future of this team. Those same people will argue with me and tell me that you can't possibly take Shedeur Sanders at 6. Unbelievable. And Jason Hunter, I am not a Mets fan. See what that say right there, brother? Mob deep. I have this Met hat on from the bet I lost to Hammer because it matches with my shirt. I hate the effing Mets. But you know what? I wear the hat if it matches. Sometimes I wear a Met hat with my Knicks stuff because it matches. You know, I'm from that era. But yeah, this is a Mob Deep shirt. One of my favorite groups. One of my top 3 favorite rap groups ever. I love Mob Deep. So yeah, not a Met fan at all. The Yankees. The Yankees, baby. Yeah, rest in peace, P, too. Yo, rest in peace, Irv Gotti, man. Rest in peace, Irv Gotti, man. Shout out to Irv Gotti, Irvin Lorenzo, his family, you know, a legend in hip hop. Shout out to Irv, man. You know, Murder Inc., you know, bringing Jay-Z and DMX to Def Jam, you know, Mike Geronimo, just, you know, Irv, you know, hip hop lost a guy that did a lot of great work. I wasn't a Murder Inc. fan. I wasn't a Ja Rule fan, but I was a Irv Gotti fan. The way that he went about his in certain ways. I was an Irv Gotti fan until he got famous. When Irv got famous and he kind of got a big head when Ja Rule blew up, and they got the best of him. You know, but I don't want to speak ill of the dead. Shout out to Irv Gotti, man. He put down for New York hip hop and for hip hop in general. And, you know, that's what we all about. We got over 600 in the room. Get wasted with your brother wasted, man. My God, Capital. I think Chip changed the outlook of the Raiders completely. This is the same guy who took guys like Mariota, Foles, and Sanchez and made them look like legit guys. The key is to trust the process. And that's pretty much how I feel about it. I feel like when you have a savant in the building like a Chip Kelly and you have the coaching staff that they're building now, we're going to get into that really, really soon, man. It's different. Like, I'm not bringing in a guy like Joe Milton at quarterback if I got Scott Turner and Antonio Pierce here. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Laney B, shout out to you. Appreciate you. And no, I don't. No, I don't. I don't want to derail the show. No, you don't. I think you don't understand how many Raider fans are on the East Coast. I really, 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 really don't think y'all understand how many Raiders on the East Coast, man. Shout out to the guy NJG Glock Jones, man. Shout out to him from P Funk. Shout out to that man, yo. But yeah, I really, really don't think you guys understand how many Raider fans on the East Coast, man. It is ridiculous. And my guy from the field, from Plainfield, he'll tell you, yo, it's a lot of Raider fans from Jersey and New York that watch me. Taino Raider is from New Jersey. Ty is from New Jersey. Jack Burton is from New Jersey. NJ Glock Jones for 4th Street in the west end of the field. Yeah, it's a lot of jokers from Newark up here. I'm telling you that, there are a lot of East Coast Raider fans, man. A lot. We are a worldwide brand. You got Raider fans in Australia, bro. So no, we don't ever have to defend ourselves. Everybody, the only thing when I wear my Raider shit around, I get is Raiders. That's it. That's it. Yo, you could even ask Graf. When Graf and them was over here sliding with me, man. We pull up in the parking lot, people got Raider stickers on their car, Raider license plates and shit. Yeah. It's really, really like that over here, man. But yo, let's get back to it, right? So, speaking of this coaching staff, right? Pete Carroll has brought on a bunch of guys on his staff. I am super excited. I'm glad that we've moved on from some of the novice that we had on our staff last year. Antonio Pierce brought in his guys, and I'm not blaming these guys for the players not executing, but I'm blaming some of them, right? But Pete Carroll added 4 new names today in his first coaching staff on Thursday. The team is hiring Chris Beatty as his wide receiver coach, Deleon McCullough as his running back coach. Marcus Robertson is a secondary coach. Marcus Robertson is a guy, man, I remember he played, man. And Joe Woods is a defensive assistant. Beatty's 51 was with the Bears. He was a wide receiver coach and an interim offensive coordinator last season. He's been coaching in college or the NFL since 1998. So this is a guy that's very well traveled, very well respected. McCullough spent the last 3 seasons as an associate head coach and running back coach at Notre Dame. He also spent time with the Chiefs, USC, Indiana, and had a long-time career that began in the year 2000, right? So 25 years strong, man. This guy has been around. He is no novice. This is a guy that has a lot of experience, and I'm loving how Pete Carroll is going back into the college ranks and bringing these guys back into the National Football League. So there's one archetype that I'm seeing with some of the guys he's hiring. He's hiring guys that have coached on the NFL level or played on the NFL level and went back to the college ranks, because I feel like the Raiders are gearing up to have one of the most special draft classes that they've ever had. Now, this draft is a draft that is littered and riddled with talent, from edge rusher, defensive tackles, secondary, man. Running back. The one thing about this draft, and the reason why it's not as heralded as other drafts, is because the quarterback talent is not there on paper, right? Now, there might be some of these guys that might pan out, right? But just based off of the pre-NFL evaluation, you don't have those big names. You don't have the Jaden Daniels, the Caleb Williams, the Drake Mays. You don't have that this year, and that's okay. But let me tell you something. You're going to get value up and down this draft. That's why the Devontae Adams trade looms huge for the Raiders. They get a bite at the apple twice in the 3rd round. That's huge. I mean, the 3rd round is a round where you can get some star players in the 3rd round, man. But let me get back to it. Woods was the Saints defensive coordinator for the last 2 years, man. And he's been in the NFL since 2004 and was the Raiders secondary coach in 2014, so he's coming back. Marcus Robinson, 55 years old, worked under Woods with the Saints, with the defensive backs in the past 2 seasons, and the Raiders assistant B coach in 2014 under Woods, right? So, it's a homecoming of sorts of Marcus Robinson and Woods, man. So, look, man, let me tell y'all something. Pete Carroll is putting together a hell of a staff, man. No stone is left unturned. And what you have is a lot of guys who have a lot of validity in the college ranks. A lot of guys that are going to bring some of those 3rd and 4th round talents into the building, man. And it's funny, man, because, today, I'm up here, I'm going through my little media cycle. I'm looking through stuff, right? And John Gruden pops up, man. And Gruden was talking to Maxx Crosby and giving them the story behind how he was drafted and why they picked him. And it was a hell of a story. I mean, you can say what you want about Jon Gruden, right? But the one thing that you cannot, the one thing that you can't take away from Jon Gruden, man, is he is a charismatic mother effer, man. My God. I can listen to that guy talk all day. I can listen to that guy talk all freaking day. And not for nothing, man. It's a hell of a storyteller, too, man. Hell of a storyteller, man. So Gru was telling the story of how they drafted Maxx Crosby and why. He said it was from a bus driver. But it's crazy, man. It's funny, man. What I'm going to do is I'm not allowed to play this, and pull a clip up. But I'll play the audio for you from the Jon Gruden, Maxx Crosby interview on his show really quickly, guys. I know y'all going to get a kick out of this. Hold on.
Mayock is the GM. I'm the head coach. I drafted all the good players, and I drafted all the bad ones. But anyways.
Wait, hold on. Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? He said Mayock drafted all the good players, and I drafted all the bad ones. Yo, shout out to Jon Gruden, man. Shout out to Jon Gruden, man. Hold up, y'all. We gonna get back to it. Hold on.
I swear to God, Jeff's been with me. He drove the bus on Monday Night Football. Jeff is the only guy I know that watches Mid-American Conference football games on Tuesday. Fucking guy never says a word. All he does is drive you to and from work. He walks in one day and he goes, "There's a son of a bitch in Eastern Michigan. His name's Maxx Crosby."
He's there's a son of a bitch in Eastern Michigan. His name's Maxx Crosby. Yo, man. Look, hold on. I'm gonna get back to it, y'all.
Maxx Crosby. I swear to God, we get into the draft. He walks in and he goes, "The guy Maxx Crosby's better than all these guys." And we're taking Pete Carroll with the fourth pick. We're signing defensive ends. Jeff Leonardo.
He's the one. That's what he told me too.
For 6 months.
Wow.
He absolutely loved you. So what do you say to Jeff
Leonardo? I love you.
Jeff Leonardo. Now look, bro. There's a few things about this. A hell of a story, hilarious, right? But it don't matter now, right? But it kind of pisses me off that a guy that drives the bus for Monday Night Football back and forth knew more than you did. That was crazy to me. No. Wait, hold on. Hold the phone. Almost 700 euro. Mo Moton is in the place. No. It's a Met hat. It's a Met hat because it matches with the shirt, Mo. You from the East Coast. You know we got a match. It's all Yankee business over here, bro. You know what time it is. Mo, you know what time it is. You know we got a match, bro. Shout out to my guy, man. But yo, Jeff mother effing Leonardo, man. Yes, man. But yeah, it's funny to me, man. Like, I love hearing the story behind the curtain now that Gruden is no longer attached to the team, because there were so many puzzling things that happened that I've always really, really wondered about, yo. He tries to make light of some of that stuff, but I don't know if that's a Freudian slip or not, man. Like, I've always suspected that Mayock was the guy who did. Now, Damon Arnett is the one that Mayock admits to, but I've always kind of wondered how that would have turned out had Gruden stepped out the way and allowed Mike Mayock to do what he does. I've always wondered that. Let me get some of these supers, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to my guy, NE Raiders Booster with the $5 smackaroonie. East Coast guy right here and the president of New England's Raiders Boosters Club. Salute, bro. Salute. Yo, bro, we got to connect, man. We got to connect, man. We trying to connect with all of the booster clubs all over the country, man. Because listen, if you guys connect with myself or Graf, whoever, Shieldmore will be pulling up on you. We are trying to connect the nation, bro. Like in real time, man. We're not just doing this from the home front, bro. We get out there, we move around, yo. My guy Estot with the $5 smackaroni. Hey, Wasted. What round do you project going through various mock drafts? Booker is gonna go to be drafted in Ursery. Now, I look, you got to give me the first names here, bro. You know, I'm going over a lot of players, bro. A lot of players. What Booker are we talking about? My guy, Spivey, the Kevin Nash and Shieldmore, gifting 5 Raider Nation Unlimited memberships to the masses. Oh, my God, the Wasted Talent Army is growing in droves. At ease, soldiers. And listen, if you received a membership, make sure that you thank this brother, man. Yo, my guy, Sky High. I think we should expect a big move at QB for us to retain 2, Max, and entice Pete and Spytek and Kelly to come aboard. It's got to be Shador or a big free agent signing. But bro, it doesn't necessarily have to be a big free agent signing, right? It has to be the right free agent signing, right? It's funny, like when Baker Mayfield was signed by the Bucs, right? It wasn't people lauding that move. People weren't, effusive of praise for that move. They just, figured they signed Baker Mayfield. He was going to go and compete with Kyle Trask. And now look how that move looks a lot different now, right? So it's about getting the right quarterback. It's about getting the right quarterback. It's not always about making these big grand gestures, because these big grand gestures don't always look great a year or two from now. It's about doing what's right and not what's popular. It's always been that. It's always been bringing in the guy who fits what you have going on in your building. The guy who lines up with what you're trying to do schematically, that has the ability physically to do what you draw up on paper. So for me, right? Look, for me, and look, I wanted to get into some of the dependent free agents, right? To me, I think it's going to be an amalgamation of a QB, bro. Like I've mentioned before, man, Zach Wilson is a guy that if I'm the Raiders, even though he's a smaller guy, he's a guy that I would definitely take a flyer on. Daniel Jones, Vanilla Vic, is another guy I'm taking a flyer on. Now, I have to see what Daniel Jones, if he's signed by the Minnesota Vikings. I think he's signed by the Minnesota Vikings. I don't necessarily know if Daniel Jones will be available as a UDFA, right? So from what I know right now, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, the 2 former Jets quarterbacks, are UDFAs. Trey Lance is a UDFA. Jacoby Brissett is not a guy you want to start your franchise with. Tyler Heineke's very good backup, but he's a UDFA. Marcus Mariota, Drew Lock, perennial backup. Jarrett Stidham, Stiddy, I got from a couple of years ago. Andy Dalton, Justin Fields is available as well. Now, Justin Fields is a guy that you will want to take a flyer on, right? It's looking to me that, the Steelers situation will probably be more advantageous to him because he understands what's going on. He has a good relationship with Mike Tomlin, and it's looking like they're going to try to build around Justin Fields in Pittsburgh. So, that's pretty much, where I'm at with it. Now, if I'm the Raiders, what I do is I have a 3-prong attack at this. I go in free agency, right? I see what trades that I can make. And I also, I'm also trying to be in the draft in the later rounds. If I don't get Shador, Cam Ward, it doesn't mean there are no more quarterbacks that are draftable. There are a couple of young guys, man, that like the Curtis Rourkes of the world, that big, strong kids. Will Howard. Will Howard is a kid that, is very, very intriguing to me. Now, the thing with Will Howard, and it's funny, man, I'm doing a short on Will Howard, right? And I remember Will Howard when he was at Kansas State. And his numbers did not, his numbers didn't, blow you away. His numbers didn't blow you away. He transferred to Ohio State and Chip Kelly got his hands on him. And his college career just took off, man. His college career took off. Now, a lot of people kind of knock these kids for getting in the transfer portal. The NIL stuff, people are saying it's ruining college football. But the one aspect of the new way things are done in college football that I like is the fact that you can't hold the kid hostage anymore. If the kid wants to go, great. He gets to go and kind of make his college career how he sees. Now, the only thing I don't like is, and this might be the get off my lawn part of me, I like for people to live up to their commitments that they make. You know what I'm saying? I love it. But Will Howard is a guy that's very, very intriguing to me, man, because you will have people that'll be bullish on Will Howard because of how he played at Ohio State and how he played, during the championship run. But let me tell you something. Previous to that, man, he was a guy that kind of disappointed. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Yo, shout out to my guy, Raiders, Fool Chris. Let's go Dodgers. Had to my back. Get the F up out of here, Ray Chris Fool. Your crap. Dodgers nonsense. Ain't enough you guys beat my Yankees. My guy Spivey, ask Graf the same question. Is Jack in the future? It all depends, man. I mean, I know Pete Carroll has always liked those big, rangy corners. Jack's not that. But he's a guy that's on the roster. They're not paying him a whole hell of a lot of money. I think DeCameron Richardson is a guy that fits into that Pete Carroll mold. He's young. We just drafted him. I think they're going to develop him. Jacorian Bennett is a guy that, to me, he's our best corner on this roster. I think you'd be smart to keep, Jack Jones, unless you draft a cornerback high and you see a corner in free agency that you will want to replace him with. It just depends on how the free agent market. You got guys like DJ Reader out there. I think that he might be collateral damage from certain moves that are made based off of guys having familiarity with Pete Carroll's system and guys that Pete Carroll had in the league and had in Seattle with him, right? So it's hard to tell, Spivey. We got to see, from a personnel standpoint, anybody that's telling you that they know what Pete Carroll and these guys are going to do, they're lying to you, because the staff isn't together yet. I don't think they've even really started to evaluate all of these guys yet, man. And I'm gonna be 100% real with you. It is hard to tell how much of an influence Pete Carroll is gonna have when it comes to personnel with him and Spytech, and also how they see the improvement for this defense coming about. Now, Patrick Graham was retained to keep some kind of continuity with some of the players, with Maxx and the guys on that side of the football. But I don't think they're going to just allow Patrick Graham to do whatever he wants. Now, there are some deficiencies in the way that Patrick Graham goes about his business. The middle of the field is open an awful lot. The run defense is atrocious. The run defense, from year to year, his run defense has gone from bad to worse, man. And I'm going to be honest with you, I can't see Pete Carroll allowing that. See, the difference between having an Antonio Pierce as your head coach and Pete Carroll as your head coach is that you are no longer the smartest coach in the room. Patrick Graham is a way, way, way more qualified coach than Antonio Pierce. He is a way more he's a way more like qualified guy. Like, so it's what could Antonio Pierce come in and say to Patrick Graham? But that knowledge base is a lot different with Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll can actually correct him. Pete Carroll could step in and say, I want this done, this done, this done, and that done. So it is going to be interesting to see how that dynamic is. It is going to be very, very interesting. Shout out to my guy, Giovanni B. We should go into camp with at least 4 legit QBs, a veteran free agent, young reclamation project, and 1 or 2 rookies in the draft. Take a chance on Milton. I feel the same way, Giovanni. I am not saying to go out there and commit to Joe Milton. I'm not saying to go out there and give up a whole lot. But what I'm saying is that if you're going to develop somebody, right, and you're going to take a flyer on somebody, to me, you take a flyer on the guy that's most physically talented. Because what do you have if you're able to show this guy how to actually be a quarterback? You have something special. Something special, man. Something special. Anthony, wait a minute. Hold on, Anthony. Anthony, I thought you were blocked. The F are you doing in here, Anthony? The president of the Miss Nasty B fan club. Thought you were blocked. Your filth. Bro, he said, be careful when he said that Aiden O'Connell going to come for you about replay. Look, bro, Aiden O'Connell could be in camp, right? But I don't think that Pete Carroll went out there to go get Chip Kelly and pay him as much as some head coaches are making, $6 million to come here to develop and coach Aiden O'Connell. I don't see that, bro. I don't see it. I'm sorry, Mo. I don't see it. He didn't come here to develop no damn Gardner Booger Minshew. They have their archetype, man. And Chip Kelly kind of revealed he showed his cards the other day when he talked about his prototype quarterback. It was almost like a Freudian slip. Almost like a Freudian slip, man. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, I don't see it. I think there's more of a chance of him going and bringing that kid from Ohio State in because of the familiarity with him. My guy Daniel Lim, I'll take Will Howard and either trade for Milton or take Riley Leonard in the 7th. Listen, I like Riley Leonard. I'm a Notre Dame guy. I would never draft Riley Leonard and bring him to the Raiders, man. Never. I don't think that Riley Leonard makes an NFL roster next year. Shout out to Riley Leonard. I don't think so, bro. I don't. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Like I would rather bring in Jackson Dart. And I'm not a big Jackson Dart guy, right? I think Jackson Dart can be developed. I think Jackson Dart is a guy that you can bring in and let him sit for a little bit, put him in the right situation. He can be successful. Jackson Dart's not the kind of quarterback that I want to move up and draft in the first round. And I think what's going to happen based off of the way he was evaluated in the Senior Bowl, based off of the fact that there is kind of a huge drop off the first two guys, I think Jackson Dart's going to get a Bo Nix kind of rise in this draft. And I don't want the Raiders to be the team to do that. Now, if he's there in the 2nd or the 3rd round, by all means, bring him in. But I don't want to see the Raiders at 6 drafting Jackson Dart. I'm sorry. It's too much. See, the problem with developing a quarterback is the pressure that comes along with where they're drafted. Like Will Levis was a project. Will Levis is a guy who has a lot of arm talent, big square jawed kid, athletic, got a lot of moxie. Let's take a flyer on him, right? They took a flyer on him. It doesn't look like it's working out in Tennessee, right? But it's easy for Tennessee to move off of Will Levis because he's not a first rounder. He's not a first rounder, not paying him like that. And if I'm being honest, they went out there, they saw what they had. He's going to come in camp. He's going to compete for a job. But I guarantee you, they're not going into training camp saying that, Will Levis is our guy in the future. Tennessee's sitting there and they're probably going to take Cam Ward. And there's nothing procuring them from taking Cam Ward. Now, if you would have reached on Will Levis in the first round, it kind of hamstrings your organization, taking 2 quarterbacks back to back in the first round. Now, it's been done before. It's been done, but I'm saying it's not the best from a salary cap standpoint, right? But shout out to my guy, man. My guy, Michael Van Elgort. This coach's staff is bomb. You damn right it is, man. Yo, my guy, Just Raiders, baby. My guy Wasted. Who would you like at free agent QB or QB for the draft? How would you like to pair up with Chip? Salute to the East Coast fam, especially Jersey. Shout out to my guy, Just Raiders, baby. Yo, look, I'm going to be real. There's a couple of guys. For me, I feel like in Chip Kelly's offense, you need a guy who has wheels, right? Will Howard's definitely a guy. Now, I said this earlier in the live. Will Howard's a guy that he has wheels. He can move. He's big, strong. I mean, I love my big, strong quarterbacks, right? I don't like the draft the shorter guys. I like the jokers that can see over the line of scrimmage, right? I mean, see over the offensive line. Justin Fields is a guy that a lot of people are down on. I don't think Justin Fields is going to be going anywhere, right? But if he is available, he's a guy that I would bring in because I think he would cook with Chip Kelly. I think Chip Kelly can mask his deficiencies and get him out in space, get him out there moving, shaking. You know what I'm saying? Throwing that ball down the field. I think this is a guy that you will want because even if the play breaks down, You want a guy that can take off and run and get you some yards in the ground. I already said. I mean, I feel like a broken record. Joe Milton. Yeah, man. I'm telling y'all right now, yo, my guy. Hug these. Hey, wasted. Hey, yo, Hug these, yo. You about to get the F up out of here with your crap. Hey, Hug these. Did Jack Me Harford come and visit you today? The F up out of here, man. What's popping in here? You out? Heard the party was a little sticky. Yo, Hug these. Get out of here with your filth. Trying to get me canceled. The F up out of here. Yeah, hey, Mo. Salute to Mo. Yeah, Justin Fields a free agent. Draft Will Howard. It's pretty much what I just said, too. But the problem is with Justin Fields, man, I think if Justin Fields is smart, I don't know if he entertains other teams if Pittsburgh is willing to commit to him, right? Because it's about the opportunity for snaps. It's about the way the team gets behind him, right? Because some of these teams could bring him in as a free agent and still go out there and address the quarterback position in the draft, and he can be getting beat out in camp, right? I think with the Steelers, it's a little different, right? You know, he has a sample size with them. You know, it looks like it was working. I'm surprised that Pittsburgh benched him because he had kind of like a bad game. Yo, shout out to over 800 of y'all in the room. Get wasted with your brother wasted, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend, man. Nah, that's right, Rusty. Good coaches use player strength to help them shore up their weaknesses. Yeah, I mean, definitely, man. I mean, you know, you have a lot of people that are talking about Trey Lance. Trey Lance is a guy that has not made any strides since he's been in the National Football League. I mean, it's a guy that did not play his senior year, which was his COVID year. You know, I haven't seen this guy play good football since he was a junior in college, man. I'm kind of good on Trey Lance, man. Darcel Bell. I'll say my enthusiasm for this coaching staff until I see results. And yo, bro, you know what's funny, man? I wanted to get into this, bro. Yo, I mess with that, bro. Like, yo, a lot of us in Raider Nation over the years have kind of gotten drunk off of hopium. I have as well. I definitely have. That's what happens when you're a Raider fan. A lot of the times we get drunk off of hopium, bro. And I'm gonna be honest with you. This year, I'm taking a more measured approach. I want to see these guys get together and cook. Now, the only thing that I can say is that when you have guys that are this accomplished, it's you can have confidence that they're going to do their job well. You know, I think in years past, we would get one little glimmer or slither of success and try to just ride that and try to say, hey, man, this guy is going to be the next person. And you start making comparisons like Antonio Pierce being a linebacker coach and becoming a head coach like John Madden. That is the problem. Like there right now, you have definite like proof that these guys are legitimate, man. So look, for me, I'm going to take that measured approach as well. I want to see what they do with the roster. But as far as, you know, what goes on and what happens with these guys as coaches, their validity, you can't take that away from these guys. So if you're you know, happy and you're juiced for the season, God bless you. But if you're taking a measured approach, I can't blame you, man. The Raiders got to do a lot to gain the trust of Raider Nation, man. There are a lot of pessimistic Raider fans, man. A lot of pessimistic Raider fans, man. A lot. Get Fields and Mason Graham and some stud running backs in the draft. Rick L, I believe you can accomplish that. Now, like when you start talking about, you know, the draft and pending free agents, man, bro, this is a year where you can really, really walk down the hill, man, and you can fill this roster out and change this organization in real time, man. Now let's just from a running back perspective, I'm kind of good on getting a free agent running back because there's so many good ones in the draft, but some of the names that are going to be available at UDFAs, man. Aaron Jones for the Minnesota Vikings, stud running back. Najee Harris is going to be available. J.K. Dobbins, very injury prone, but when he's healthy, he's explosive. For the wide receiver position, man, T. Higgins is available. Chris Godwin's available. Amari Cooper's available. Stephon Diggs is available. You know, I think we're cool on tight ends. I'm not going to go over that, but offensive tackle, you know, Ronnie Stanley, Cam Robinson. These are guys. Now, Ronnie Stanley, I think he's going to get signed, but Cam Robinson is definitely available. Guard, Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Trey Smith is a guy, man, that will be like addition for subtraction. He's the number one guard available as free agency. I think that guy should be Raider target number one. Raider target number one. You also have Will Fries from the Indianapolis Colts, who's a pretty decent guard, and Tevin Jenkins, terrific guard for the Chicago Bears. The only thing with him is he's very, very injury prone, man. So you don't know what you're going to get with that kid. You don't know what you're going to get from a durability standpoint, but when he's on the field, he's definitely impactful. Look, you got edge rushers. You got Josh Sweat available, Hassan Reddick, and Khalil Mack is available, man. Drake Greenlaw is available. Nick Bolton's available. Bobby Wagner's a little long in the tooth, but he is available. He has that relationship with Pete Carroll. Maybe you could bring him in. DJ Reed from the New York Jets is available. Javarius Ward, Rasul Douglas, former Raider, available. Javon Holland, Talona Hafunga, Bynum from the Vikings. There's a lot of great free agents out here, man. And what a year to have some cap space. What a year to have some cap space. Oh, yeah, Mekhi Becton as well. Man. Hey, Hug D's, you make a meme of me and I'm blocking you. Effing bum. F up out of here with your crap. Newsflash. Everybody's saying Jackson Dart, he will not be around in the second round. The Raiders will need to trade back into the first round and select him. He'll be pushed into the first round. Jared Gonzalez, I'm going to be honest with you. Even if that's the case, right, I just don't want the Raiders to miss out on taking somebody, and I don't think he's going to be available, but a guy like an Abdul Carter or a guy like Mason Graham or a guy like Will Johnson, taking a quarterback and overdrafting a quarterback. I think that's a mistake that bad football teams and bad organizations make, overdrafting players. You have to take people, and be true to your board. You have to be true to your board. You can't, buy high just because the guy's a quarterback. If he's not a guy that's startable year one. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really don't know. Like, some people say that they feel like Jackson has a kind of ability that he can make that, Bo Nix, Mahomes kind of jump. A guy that a lot of people doubted, and if he gets in the right situation, he can cook. I just feel like the Raiders are in such a fragile situation, we can't take that kind of risk. We have to turn around and have 2 good drafts back-to-back, and then 3 good drafts back-to-back, and then 4 good drafts back-to-back. The reason why the Kansas City Chiefs were able to do that when it came to, Patrick Mahomes was because they had Alex Smith there cooking already. They were a playoff team already. They were able to do that. The Raiders don't have the latitude to reach on a guy in the first round and for it to go bad, because the perception of what the Raiders are doing and building changes right then and there. Now, the faith that Maxx Crosby, as I said earlier in this episode, that changes now, because now it doesn't look like you know what you're doing. Shout out to everybody in the chat, yo. Get wasted with your brother Wasted, man. The fly and wonderful Yvette Niles. Salute Wasted into the nation. Let's go green lawn game. No, it is get off my lawn game. Get off my lawn. The Green Dot Gang is over at OLV. Shout out to them too, because some of y'all are both Green Dot and get off my lawn gang. Fields only makes sense if free agent if he's available. We got to move her up to secure Sanders' award at this point. You don't know that. Like some people think that Shedeur could fall. Some people think this draft is one of the most unpredictable drafts I've seen in a very, very long time. Like, a lot of people have Travis Hunter coming off the board in the first 3 picks. And they, when you start doing a tape on Travis Hunter, then there was a report about how some GMs feel that Travis Hunter can really, really, really be a colossal bust because of the fact that, he's a terrific athlete. He's a guy that makes spectacular plays, but he's also a guy who will make a spectacular play and then give up 100 yards, and then you'll forget about it because he made a spectacular play. Then what are you doing with Travis Hunter? Are you playing him on both sides of the ball? This is the National Football League. It's a big boy league. I don't necessarily know if you could start him at both and give him that many snaps and, a lot of what's going on in the NFL since they've added more games, they're talking about adding the 18 game, which I think is asinine, right? But they're adding more games. They're playing on more nights a week. All these Thursday night games, these short turnarounds. Football is a game of attrition, right? You have to limit the amount of snaps and the amount of punishment your players are taking. You really do. And Travis Hunter kind of spits in the face of that. I really don't. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't know how that's going to work, man. I really don't know how it's going to work. Do you prefer Ted McMillan or James Pierce at 6? It's tough, man, because for me, right, McMillan out of Arizona is a damn good young receiver, right? But I can't see myself taking a receiver at number 6, man, especially based off of the fact that we haven't yet located the quarterback. So who's throwing to this kid, right? And how? And this is the thing for me, right? I don't think McMillan is the prospect that Malik Neighbors was last year. I don't think that he's a Justin Jefferson's. I don't think, so that's where I'm kind of, I feel like from a value perspective, I think you could get value later in the draft or a free agency. You know what I mean? And like, I'm going to be honest with you. That's just how I feel, man. So, I mean, I don't know. And Pierce, look, man, he's a beast, man. He's a pass rusher. And the thing is, a lot of people feel like the Raiders don't need pass rushers. But what people don't realize is, guys like Adam Butler, guys like Malcolm Kuntz, there's no guarantees that they sign on the dotted line and come back to the silver and black. And right now, what you're dealing with is a Tyree Wilson, Maxx Crosby, and Christian Wilkins. This is what you're dealing with in that room, man. So, look, if you go out there and go get a James Pierce, I have no problem. If you go get in Mike Green, any of these guys, any of these rushers that are coming out in this draft, man, Abdul Carter, I'm happy because now you have a bookend that's going to come in and really pay dividends for the most part. It's not a project like Tyree Wilson. Tyree Wilson was a project that has not panned out yet. I'm sorry. Man, look, there's a lot of great linebackers in this draft, man. A lot of great linebackers. There's a lot of great linebackers in this draft, man. And it's like it's rough, man, because look, for me, right, there were two linebackers that I love in this draft, man. Jahad Campbell is one of them. I love Jahad Campbell. And Barrett Carter from Clemson is another one, man. But Jahad Campbell is the guy for me. Jahad Campbell, 4.52 speed, 6'3" guy, 244. He's a guy that's just a specimen, man. And if it doesn't work out, him being a linebacker, maybe you could take him and play edge, have him play some edge. He is a guy that, for me, he's bust proof because of how talented he is. Jahad Campbell's my guy, man. And Demetrius Knight is also a beast too. I love Demetrius Knight. Demetrius Knight, I forgot about my guy Demetrius Knight from South Carolina, man. Demetrius Knight is a beast, yo. Yeah, man. But look, man, that's the Raider archetype. I think that a lot of scouts get away from that. Bigger, stronger, faster, man. Don't overcomplicate it, bro. Bigger, stronger, faster. Technique and tape is definitely king, right? But when all of that stuff is congruent, sometimes you get the bigger, stronger, faster guy and just make them fit into your scheme somewhere. I'm telling you right now. That's right. Pete Carroll loves his linebackers. He had great ones in Seattle. Yes, he does. And see, that's the thing that I think that's always been missing from Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham has never had a group of really good linebackers. I want to see what that looks like in his scheme because he's more of a guy where he runs all these sub packages and he'll have two linebackers on the field and more DBs and stuff like that. I want to see what Pete Carroll's influence does to Patrick Graham's scheme. Telling you right now. Wait, wasted. I got a great doublet screenshot. The boys gonna love. Let me tell you something. Hug these. You post that on social media, you are gonna have hell to effing pay. Hug these to be blocked up in here. Wasted. Take that filth off your head. Yeah. Hey man, listen. It matches with the shirt. The F up out of here, man. And listen, this is the thing. I love Robert Spillane. I think we need to keep Robert Spillane and add somebody with Spill. I'm not saying to get Spill out of here at all. Don't think I'm saying that at all, y'all. But yeah, man, I'm excited, man. I'm excited, man, because it's good to have a guy like Pete around, man, that's been so successful at so many levels, man. If you go off Pete's ideal corner, Darian Porter, 6'2", 33-inch arms, faster than everyone. Look, bring him on in, bro. Bring him on in. My guy, Silver Smoker. Dart is a way better QB than Howard. It has a way higher ceiling than Howard. Bro, the thing is he a better quarterback than Will Howard in this system? Is he? You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to tell because, Jackson Dart and Will Howard are two guys, man, who kind of had a similar journey in college football. Now, Jackson Dart originally started out at USC. He's a guy that was in the transfer portal, I think, 2 times, right? He wound up at Ole Miss down in the SEC. He did his thing. God bless him. Right? But now you're in a situation where you get to a bigger program. You have more resources. You have more weapons around you. Jackson Dart has some great weapons at Ole Miss. He cooked, but he was very, very inconsistent. I think that when Jackson Dart went to Ole Miss, I think people were kind of expecting them to kind of sneak into that national championship picture. Now, Will Howard made his next move his best move, and he was smooth. He went to, one of the 3 biggest programs in college football. He went to the Ohio State Buckeyes. $22 million in NIL money. It's like a drunk spending NFL franchise. They were bringing in NIL guys. They were bringing in transfers all over the place. They won a national title, right? So what to you makes Jackson Dart way better than Will Howard, though? Like, I think these guys are very, very similar. 2 inconsistent guys, both very physically talented. What's the line of demarcation? What's the line of demarcation? And look, I like Curtis Warwick, but look, let's not act like Curtis Warwick is some world beater either. This draft is exactly what you guys think when it comes to the quarterback. It is a bargain basement shopping experience here. And these guys that are coming out, I'm not saying that none of the guys in this draft are going to pan out, but I think barring the 2 guys, Shedeur and Cam Ward, I think they have a lot of talent. I think they'll be all right in a bunch of different scenarios, right? I think some of these other guys, these later guys, the Rourkes, you know what I mean? All of these guys, the Will Howards, all of these kind of guys, they have to go to the right situation. And that also is the case. That Dart doesn't run a pro style offense at Ole Miss. Is he ever under center? And bro, to be honest with you, that matters. But when you have a play caller like Chip Kelly, who just came from the college ranks, they're gonna go. If you have a smart offensive coordinator, they're gonna go and they're gonna act as the skill set of a Jackson Dart. He just got to go to the right situation, man. I mean, look, people say, Howard had better weapons. He did. I mean, the thing is, but he isn't as careless with the ball as Dart, too. Dart was very, very careless with the football, man. Let's be for real here. I mean, if you go back, see, when I evaluate a quarterback, I like to go and watch their worst game. Now, to me, the worst game I seen from Jackson Dart was the Florida game this year. The Florida game this year was atrocious, man. He threw some bad interceptions, man, very, very late. He threw 3 picks in that game. I was very high on Jackson Dart into that game, right? And I don't like to be a prisoner of the moment, but there's certain things that kind of frighten me about Jackson Dart. And also, the way he puts his body out there. He's a gunslinger. He's got a lot of heart. I love that about him. But man, let me tell you something. I just do not like the way the positions he puts himself in, man. See, the thing is, you have to take the bad games, right, to kind of show you how to fall in the middle with all of this, right? You look at the worst games, you look at the really good games, and you make your assessment somewhere in the middle, right? Like, how many times does that quarterback make errant throws, even in his good games? Like, how many times does that quarterback in his good games make that same bad throw that he made in his worst game, and it just gets dropped and they don't pick it off? Like, those are the things you got to really look at. You got to look at the whole body of work, no doubt, right? But I think when people start looking at guys like Jackson Dart, they just want him to be the guy. They want to anoint him. Some people hate Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward so bad, they just want to anoint this guy as the guy. They want to find a reason to put him over Shedeur. I'm telling you that right now. It's the strangest thing I've seen, bro. They want to put Jackson Dart over Shedeur. So what they'll do is they'll go on YouTube and watch a whole bunch of highlights. But highlights are the height. It's the high times. You know what tells me about a person? What do you do in the low times? What do you do when the times are the darkest? What do you do? How do you respond? How do you respond? I hear people talk about, character concerns for Shedeur Sanders, where this guy went to the Shrine Bowl just so he can put light on his teammates so that his teammates could get drafted. This guy, one of his buddies who didn't have a scholarship, paid the guy's rent because he's a kid who comes from money. I don't get it. Yo, and Mo, that's a fact. People they dislike Shedeur for who he is more than how he plays. Because I'm telling you right now, I've seen players that play like Shedeur Sanders that are tough. They move in the pocket. They don't take off and run. He stands in there, he delivers the ball. He takes accountability. He's a good teammate. And guess what? The praise from the media and America is effusive. But you don't like that he holds that watch up. You don't like that he got swagger. You don't like that he don't hang his head. You don't like that. You got to ask yourself, people who are out there. Now, if you want to take it from a football level, I can deal with that. But when people say, I don't like that kid, why not? Why not? Because he's not sitting up there, I want to thank my coach. I want to thank, No. Like, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Shedeur Sanders not only plays like Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow got all of this praise for how Joe cool, Joe shiesty, all of this stuff. Oh, look how cool he is. He throw the football, look away, and everybody creams on himself. It's crazy, man. It's crazy to me, bro. I just, look, dude, I don't have to say the quiet thing out loud. Y'all can pick up what I'm putting down here. Now, look, we don't do that kind of stuff here, right? You guys can pick up what I'm putting down. Yeah, look. Hey, bro, and this is the thing. This is the thing, bro. Yes. But what I'm saying is the problems that people have with Shedeur is not football, bro. It's not football. It's not football, bro. You got people complaining about him being flashy, and nobody complained about some of these other guys. Nobody's saying he's better than Joe Burrow or just as good as him. Nobody's saying that. What I'm saying is that Joe Burrow didn't get that kind of criticism. That's what I'm saying. He didn't get that kind of criticism, and y'all know it. Now, see, this is the thing, bro. For me, right? I don't give a shit whether you flashy, whether you're quiet, like Aiden O'Connell. I want you to come here and win. I want you to come here and win, right? But the most important thing that I need for the nation, for people to do is to look at the player. Look at the body of work. Look at the body of work. And be honest with your assessment of whatever player you're talking about. Be honest. Be honest. Be honest. Look yourself in the mirror. You got a lot of people that'll say, oh, I'm out of here. Then guess what, man? We never knew you. You can go. But you be honest with yourself. Anthony, you know what? You about to get effing blocked. Blocked. You damn right. If I'm yelling at guys, listen, I know I'm yelling, but I'm only yelling at Anthony. Getting blocked. Blocked. You know, people talk about, throwing a team under the bus. Look, man, a lot of people are very, very, it just, when you're talking sports, man, keep it sports. Keep it sports. Keep it sports. That's how I feel. Keep it sports. And guess what? We the Raiders, bro. I like having them kind of flamboyant players for the Raiders. I love that shit. Bring it on. As long as you back it up and play well, bro, bring it on. Bring it on. I love that Maxx is flashy, bro. I love Maxx got all them tattoos and he got his gold chain hanging. I love that shit, man. Because guess what? He backs it up, man. The swagger, man. God damn, man. I get tired of these cookie cutter New England Patriot kind of jokers, man. That don't say nothing. Man, that's what sports is all about, man. That's the thing that makes you love sports, right? When did everybody become such snowflakes? I mean, goddamn, when you think about what you love about sports, right? When you think about what you love about sports, it's Muhammad Ali, right? It's Muhammad Ali, Shaq, it's Joe Willie Namath, sitting on the sideline with the mink on in all his splendor, guaranteeing the Super Bowl. This is what makes you love sports. Michael Jordan with the tongue out, with the chain dangling, with the J's, man. This is what you love about sports. Allen Iverson pulling up with a jersey, a football jersey that's 2-3 sizes too big, jumping out of the Bentley. This is what you love about sports. This is why we all love these games, bro. Since when did we get to a point in society where people can't just be themselves, bro? Since when, bro? Since when? Since when did we get that soft, man? That we can't deal with somebody that's a little flamboyant. Just funny to me, man. Ray Chung, I disagree. Sanders is easily the worst QB coming out as a top prospect by anyone's account in years. Bro, I mean, I don't agree, right? So Is Shedeur Sanders worse than Trey Lance? I mean, is he? You tell me, is Shedeur Sanders like worse than Josh Rosen? I mean, let me know, bro. Like, let's you want to let's do this, man. Let's do this, right? So you can't say that Trey Lance wasn't a top prospect. You can't say that, right? You can't say that. I mean, he was the third pick in 2021, bro. How wasn't he a top? How much higher of a prospect can you be than Trey Lance, bro? He was the third pick of the draft, and I'm not gonna go all the way back to Ryan Leaf. He was the third pick of the damn draft. The third pick. The third pick. I mean, look. This is just I mean, that's how I feel about it, bro. I mean, that's how I feel about it. There's a lot of guys that got a lot of hype, right? It's a lot of guys that got a lot of hype. So, like, do you think that like Sam Darnold when he came out, right? Was he? And you say Josh Rosen wasn't? Josh Rosen was the 10th pick in 2000 in freaking what was that? 2018, 2019, 2018. Josh Rosen was a top 10 pick. Since when are top 10 picks not top prospects, bro? And then you got guys that are resurrecting their career. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, all these guys. Bro, whether they got traded up for or not, apparently somebody thought that they were top picks, bro. Zach Wilson. Is Zach like Zach Wilson? I like Zach. Is Zach Wilson a better prospect than Shedeur Sanders playing at BYU? Yeah, yo, yeah, the class is bad, right? But the two guys at the top of the draft, if you heard what I was saying, are two good young quarterbacks. They're not bad. The rest of the class is bad. Get the F out of here with that. The F up out of here. You can, Roy, you can disagree. God bless, bro. That's what this is about. Like, there's some people that get on me because I think if the Raiders can, get Joe Milton for a half-eaten sandwich and develop him. I'm not saying to bring Joe Milton in and start him day one. I'm talking about just bring him into camp, see what you can do with him. How could it hurt having a person that's that physically talented? But, bro, I love it. I love to disagree. That's what this is about, bro. We got 900 people in here watching us disagree. That's awesome, bro. But the thing that makes this quarterback draft weak is that you don't have 5 guys in this draft where you're like, wow, this guy can go first, second round. You have Cam Ward, you have Shedeur Sanders, and then there's a huge drop-off after that. Maybe Jackson Dart. And after that, some of these guys can go in a 4th, 5th round. Riley Leonard, come on, man. But guys, look, man. I think we've been cooking long enough, y'all. There wasn't a whole lot of Raider news today. But guess what? We had a good time, right? We had a good time. We an hour and 20 in. And yo, Ray Charles is a Dart fan, admittedly. Get that F up out of here, Roy. So now all of a sudden, it makes sense. It makes sense, Roy. Hold on, I was about to pull the train into the train station. You are a Jackson Dart apologist. Ray Charles. You are a Jackson Dart apologist. You have shown yourself, and I am a savant. You gotta apologize for the way Jackson Dart played some of these games this year, bro. Look, I like Jackson Dart, right? But I don't like him in the first round. I like some of the thing I like about Jackson Dart most is his leadership. I like his moxie and I like his toughness. He was hurt a lot of this year and he stood tall like a man. He played well. But if I'm the Raiders, I can't risk taking a guy like that is really that has such volatile rates, man, where the accuracy is a little shoddy. You know what I'm saying? The way he processes, him not playing in a pro style offense in the SEC. These are things that I can't risk the credibility of this front office year one, right? I think one of the things that adds credibility, and I think some of the reason why last year with Tom Telesco, people were shocked and they didn't want to get rid of Tom Telesco because of the fact that he nailed it the first draft. So everything else that went on that season, them, bringing in Gardner Minshew and starting him and some of the deficiencies on the roster that, in free agency, the running back room, all kinds of things, right? The thing that Tom Telesco could hang his hat on as a GM is that he drafted Brock Bowers. And I want this GM, John Spytek, to start off and hit the ground running. And, look, if in his infinite wisdom, he feels like Jackson Dart's the guy and they're going to develop him, he could turn out to be that next guy that nobody expected, comes out of nowhere, is the best quarterback in his draft. That would be great, right? But just for me, my Raider PTSD will not allow me to see us draft a quarterback that early. That is not the goods, man. Jackson Dart at 6, no. But Jackson Dart, day 2, I am 100% okay with that. Day 1, if you sneak back into the back half of the first round, maybe. But at 6, that is an abject failure. My guy Will Duncan with the $20 smackaroonie. If we miss a decide against Warder Sanders, Dart, I would be on board for Kyle McCord. I like Kyle McCord, man. Syracuse, right? Reminds me a lot of Kirk Cousins. Lethal accuracy, will protect it, but sporadic under pressure. Build the O-line to protect him. Will Duncan, he's a kid, project guy. Bring him in. Look, I feel like there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's some teams that are bad. They're just bad in the right year, and they're bad the year that Peyton Manning's come out. And they got the number 1 pick, pillar to post, wire to wire, and they're the number 1 team, and they take Peyton Manning, and they're off to the races, right? And then there's other teams that have to find their guy. They have to sift through the mud, right? They got to go in the bargain bin, and they got to develop a guy. We've always kind of had to get ours that way. Plunkett was not he was the first overall pick, but not for the Raiders, right? He had already played for 2 other organizations, before he got to us. He was a backup to Pastorini. And then, he gets out there, he starts cooking. We got us a quarterback. Rich Gannon's a guy that we got off the scrap heap, played for all these other teams, the Vikings, the Chiefs, and he comes here with us and he cooks, play for the Redskins, So I don't have a problem with that. Yo, my guy, fuck the Chiefs. Fuck the Chiefs. Yes. F them. My guy. Heifer 916 with the $20 smackaroonie, man. Another. I know people hate Zach Wilson, but I watched that kid play live through his whole college career, and he has all the tools and mobility. I truly believe the Jets helped ruin that kid. Take a flyer on him. Look, I've been saying it all offseason. Look, I live in the New York, New Jersey area. I see what the New York media does to young players in every sport. It is a reason why you don't have a laundry list of great quarterbacks that have come out of New York, because the media will laud you when they draft you, and then they will run your ass out of here. And you have 3 guys that were with the New York Jets that they drafted that are starting for teams right now. Well, not 3. You got 2 that are starting. You got Geno Smith and you got Sam Darnold. But I believe Zach Wilson in the right scenario could start. Look, if he's out there, he's a UDFA, I bring him in. That's me. But guys, look, we're going to get up out of here. I was saying it 10 minutes ago. I got to go. Wifey's hitting me up. What time is it, man? Time to eat dinner. I haven't eaten. I'm going to sit down, talk to my kids, talk to my wifey. You know what I mean? Maybe go back to the gym. But guys, this has been a terrific show. Thank you for everybody that's pulled up. Thank you for my guy, Graphic Raider. Thank you for my guy, Mo, pulling up, showing love, man. My guy Sky High, Daniel Caps Keenan, Anthony, the Miss Nasty B fan club representative who's going to be unceremoniously blocked. Jesus Saves is in the place, man. Prayers to you too, my brother. And Roy Chong having me lose a damn gasket. Shout out to you. But y'all have a terrific night, man. We are out of here, man. Love every single one of y'all. We'll be back at it rocking. And I'm gonna drop that Will Howard short very, very soon. Guys, be on the lookout for that, man. Peace, y'all.